edition of Niger Delta Today, where we bring you insights from the hearts of the Nigeria's oil-rich region. On the program, we also look at news and stories making the rounds in the region, as well as the rising tide in innovations and development across various communities and cities of the Niger Delta region. I am Awero Swagene Ebo. Welcome to the program.
On this edition, Niger Delta Development Commission urges international oil companies to defray $700 million outstanding debt. Delta State postpones 2024 basic education certificate examination amidst nationwide strike. On our developing story, support for survivors of gender-based violence as Akwa Ibom State First Lady, Pastor Patience Umoino, intensifies month-long gender-based violence awareness campaign. In sports, Rivers Hooper secure BAL podium finish with triumph over Cape Town Tigers. On our special feature, we will look at addressing environmental issues specific to the Niger Delta region.
Those are the headlines on across the Niger Delta today. Now to the main events and news across the region. The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has appealed to international oil companies (IOCs) to settle the $700 million owed to the Commission. Managing Director of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, made the plea during a virtual media tour of the Commission's project in the Niger Delta region during a sensitization session with media executives nationwide. Represented by the Commission's Director for Projects, Victor Antai, Dr. Ogbuku highlighted that the debt has accumulated over 24 years. He also emphasized that the repayment would significantly aid the Commission in addressing the extensive developmental issues faced by the oil-rich region. The NDDC MD also noted the current NDDC Board and Management Committee is committed to improving the Commission's reputation within the Niger Delta. He further explained and inaugurating previously abandoned legacy projects was his core mandate, stressing that in order to achieve this, the Interventionist Commission requires support from all stakeholders, including the international oil companies. The Rescue Movement for New Nigeria, RMNN, has successfully launched its Akwa Ibom and Cross River State chapters, strengthening its presence in the South-South region of the country. The group made this known in a statement through its media advisor, Reverend Emmanuel Olorunmagba, who noted that the development marks a significant milestone in its quest to build a new and better Nigeria. Reverend Olorunmagba explained that the expansion in the South-South region underscores the RMNN's commitment to fostering a new Nigeria by empowering vulnerable citizens and promoting equity, justice, and peace. Addressing the newly inaugurated executives, the Director General of the movement, Comrade Martins Chidiozie Ugu, emphasized the movement's dedication to long-term impact and sustained efforts to improve the nation, noting that as the movement continues to gain momentum, its impact will undoubtedly be felt nationwide. And moving to Delta State, the Delta State Ministry of Secondary Education has announced the postponement of the 2024 Junior Secondary School Basic Education Certification Examination, BECE, initially set to start on Monday, June 3rd, till further notice. This was disclosed in an official statement by Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Augustine Ogoro, on behalf of the Commissioner for Secondary Education in the state, Mrs. Rose Ezewu. According to the statement, the postponement is due to the nationwide strike called by organized labor in response to the federal government's failure to agree on the new national minimum wage. The ministry, however, alerted of a contingency plan, stating that if the strike does not occur, the BECE will begin Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. By this, the ministry has therefore expressed regret for any inconvenience the postponement may cause on students, parents, and educators. And still in Delta State, the Delta State Police has said it has recovered weapons from suspected kidnappers in Agbaro community in Ughelli North local government area of the state. Police spokesperson in the state, SP Bright Edafe, who made this known in Warri, also said the police has launched a manhunt for the fleeing suspects. He added that the weapons were recovered by police operatives attached to the Agbaro division following an intelligence report. SP Edafe also said the recovered weapons include AK-49 rifles, 2 AK-47 rifles, and 207 rounds of 7.62mm live ammunition. Following an intelligence report by a vigilante member, the Divisional Police Officer, DPO in Agbaro Division, CSP Josephine Ebweke, led police personnel on the operation. And the search of the hideout of the suspected kidnappers terrorizing Ughelli, Agbaro, Warri, Saple and its environs led to the recovery of the weapons. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Abaniwonda Olufemi, while commending the DPO and the gallant police operatives, urged the public to continue to support the police by providing useful information on criminal activities. The Delta State Police Commissioner also warned residents to desist from unlawful activities, stressing that the command would leave no stone unturned in flushing out criminal elements from the states. And we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll bring you our developing story for the day.
ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop.
Are you a young adult with a passion for storytelling and content creation? Do you reside in the Niger Delta and desire to become a filmmaker or content creator?
Then you should register for the ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop, an exciting opportunity brought to you by ADBN TV. Embark on a journey to unlock your creative potential by learning the art of filmmaking, sound design, and lighting using your smartphone. This is your chance to turn your ideas into reality. So hurry now and register via our website at www.adbntv.com. But wait, that's not all. Your creations will be aired on ADBN TV, channel 258 on DSTV, 140 on StarTimes, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app, reaching audiences far and wide. And guess what? 3 lucky winners will be selected for the grand cash prize of 5 million naira.
Meet our facilitators.
Register now at www.adbntv.com and take the first step towards a future in filmmaking and content creation. ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop. Unleash your creativity. ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop.
Are you a young adult with a passion for storytelling and content creation? Do you reside in the Niger Delta and desire to become a filmmaker or content creator?
Then you should register for the ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop, an exciting opportunity brought to you by ADBN TV. Embark on a journey to unlock your creative potential by learning the art of filmmaking, sound design, and lighting using your smartphone. This is your chance to turn your ideas into reality. So hurry now and register via our website at www.adbntv.com. But wait, that's not all. Your creations will be aired on ADBN TV, channel 258 on DSTV, 140 on StarTimes, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app, reaching audiences far and wide. And guess what? 3 lucky winners will be selected for the grand cash prize of 5 million naira.
Meet our facilitators.
Register now at www.adbntv.com and take the first step towards a future in filmmaking and content creation. ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop. Unleash your creativity.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
A very big thank you to you for staying tuned to Across the Niger Delta. We're moving on to other issues where we're going to be talking about gender-based violence, because violence against persons or gender-based violence remains a critical issue, even in states where the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, VAP, has been enacted. Despite the law being a vital step towards justice and protection, the issue of survivors when it comes to gender-based violence should be treated with dignity and respect. With the launch of the Gender-Based Violence Awareness Campaign Month by the Akwa Ibom First Lady, Pastor Patience Umoino, we need to enlighten people on ways to seek help and protection, as well as ways to support survivors in various forms. That is what we'll be discussing today. And joining us in the studio right now is a gender-based violence campaigner and program manager in one of the leading foundations when it comes to violence against persons in Akwa Ibom State. She's none other than Miss Edidiong Enang. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's nice to have you join us here. I've heard so much about you and what you do when it comes to gender-based violence. But first of all, let us get this clear. Gender-based violence, violence against persons, they are usually used interchangeably. Do they mean the same thing?
Yeah, they mean the same thing, because when we say gender-based violence, gender refers to both male and female, and persons there refers to both male and female. So when we say gender-based violence and violence against persons, it means one and the same thing. That's why the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law was delayed, because it was Violence Against Women Prohibition Law.
Okay.
So now, considering that men also go through violence a lot, so it has to be changed to violence against persons. So that underlying word there, persons, refers to both male and female.
Okay.
So that's why we have Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. So if you say violence against persons or gender-based violence, it means one and the same thing.
Okay, thank you so very much for that.
Thank you.
Now let's go straight to how frequent does this violence against persons occur in the Niger Delta region before we bring it down to Akwa Ibom, where the VAP law has been enacted?
Okay, when we talk about violence, I mean, it happens every day, everywhere, every minute, both in our, especially our homes, workplace, you know, social places. It happens in a political gathering, in a religious gathering, you know. It happens everywhere and every time. Okay. Because even some of us get abused this morning before even moving out.
And we'll cover it up with makeup.
yeah. So even with our partners, you know, with neighbors and the rest of the person. Sometimes people get abused, they don't even get to identify that they are being abused, that this is abuse, that this is violence against their rights. You know, so, and then some persons also abuse other people without even knowing that they have violated a person's rights. That is why we take desensitization very important, you know, because people get to know about what their rights is so that they don't get to violate other people's rights, and then they don't allow people to also infringe in their own rights. So information is power. And though they said that lack of knowledge is not an excuse, you know. It's not an excuse, but then we need to let people know so that you don't tell us that you don't know, you didn't know, you were not aware. That's why I'm here today.
Can you give us some examples of this violence against persons that you feel a lot of people are not aware of? Because you said sometimes the violence committed against the person and the person committing it might not be aware. So can you give us some examples briefly?
Okay, so I'm going to cite those examples under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. We have, this is the simplified copy, you know, that anybody can read and understand. We distribute it in schools, churches, and everywhere we go, so that those who are not legal practitioners can read and understand. So we have about 27 offenses under this law. That I'm going to quickly mention. Like rape, people feel that they can tamper with rape. You know, rape is a capital offense, and it's life imprisonment. There is a no-go area, and then if you try to obstruct justice, or you try to hide a perpetrator, or you try to support a perpetrator, you that support that person, that's aiding and abetting, that is 14 years imprisonment.
Okay, so sorry, let me cut you there. You're saying, for instance, a woman's son commits rape.
Yes.
And she's shielding this boy from being punished.
Yeah.
She gets 14 years
14 years imprisonment.
Okay.
And then if you are maybe a pastor or whoever, or a security agency who tried to obstruct justice, who maybe try to frustrate investigation, so that, because, you know, justice is evidence-based.
Yes.
You know, so if you try to hide the evidences or try to tamper with, even if you're a medical practitioner who try, because before you can get justice, there must be a proper medical examination and with proof. So if a doctor tries to hide such evidence, you know, or try to give wrong reports, that doctor too is liable to 14 years imprisonment. So it's all the way around. And then we come again to talk about physical injury. You know, physical injury, people tend to injure each other, maybe throw fights or something to put a person in distress. Physical injury here is physical injury is 5 years imprisonment.
Irrespective of provocation.
Yes.
So you're dipping your fingers in my eye and I'm trying to avoid you, and I get to that point where I break, I inflict an injury, I go to prison. That's why it's not good for you to react when you are angry. You walk away and then report. So you don't take justice, you don't take laws into your hands. You know, if you react at that point, you might do something that is even more than what the person did to you. Even when you're trying to prove that it was self-defense. You know, if your own injury overshadows the other person's own, you go in for it. So don't react, better you report. So that is it. And then whoever tries to also, hide a person who injures another person, or try to support, you know, try to say, she did this to you, why not break her head, why not do this? That person too is liable for 3 years imprisonment. Yes. Now, you're talking about those that engineer this move. Yes. Now, you've seen a scenario, or many scenarios, where some people are in a heated argument, and some other persons are with their mobile phones videoing this thing, engineering them to go into the fight and let's see who is superior. Those people, are they also liable to this? Yes, they are. That's 3 years imprisonment for them, or if a fine of 100,000 or both, depending on the graffiti. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So this law is one beautiful law that
it doesn't spare anybody. Because sometimes people will say, people will commit a crime. You know, sometimes it might not be outrightly from the perpetrator. Somebody must have been there engineering the process or trying to put fire and say, especially when a woman abuses a man, people will like, how can you allow a woman to, you know, to tamper with your ego, to beat you, to do this? Why not do this to her? You know, those people who sit there to engineer this violence, you know, this crime, they too are not left out. They are also happening out to face. So quickly, we also have coercion. You know, this coercion trying to make a person to, according to this law, it said when a person forces another person to do anything that will injure that person physically or psychologically, he has committed a crime called offense. For instance, you allowing a child or pushing a child into early marriage, or especially a child to a very elderly person, old person whom this child may not be able to, you know, to marry, or it's not even yet time. So if you do that, that's 3 years imprisonment. And then we have another for one, willfully placing a person in fear of physical injury. You know, some persons are very much fond of putting people in perpetual fear. You know, I'm going to do you this, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to kill you if I see you, just avoid me. So those kind of words, those kind of things, placing a person in perpetual fear, you know, to cause physical injury, it's a crime under this law, and it's 2 years imprisonment, or you pay a fine of 200,000, or both, depending on the gravity. And then we also have offensive conduct, you know, where a man trying to touch a woman's sensitive parts without her consent. Even women too, you know, does that. Sometimes when a man does that to a married woman, everybody would tend to like, why do you do that to a married woman? And then a married woman will also touch a man's sensitive parts, and nobody will talk. It's a crime. So both sides, you, the woman, you have to respect men, you have to respect women. So nobody is above the law. That's why it is called Persons Prohibition Law. So that if you do that with, and then a person reports you with evidence, is 2 years imprisonment or 500,000.
And when there is no evidence, you go explain that.
At least for a person, for you to be reported, it means you have been doing that, and then we'll have 1 or 2 witnesses who will say, he has been doing that to me. And then again, let me quickly mention, it's not everything that we arrest the perpetrator. There is room for mediation.
All right.
Yes, it's not every time you report but when it comes to rape case and murder case, there is nothing like mediation in that. So every other one, there can be mediation depending on the tendency, so that the person can be cautioned, so that he or she will not do that again. Then we also have a prohibition of female genital mutilation. That's a violence, and then that's something that people don't even know, especially at the traditional level.
Yes,
you know, rural areas, people don't even see that as a crime. They see it as doing well to the female folk, which that alone can mess up a woman's psychological, mental health. It can affect her in marriage, childbearing. It can affect her education, even performance at work. So female genital mutilation is a crime. You know, and if you practice that and you are being reported, it's 4 years imprisonment or 200,000 naira fine. So I wish we will have time to talk about just the female genital mutilation, so that more information can be given to that. So frustrating investigation. You also have willfully making false statements. You know, somebody has not raped you, you come out and say you've been raped.
Oh, there's penalty.
Yes, there's penalty.
Okay.
Yes, there's penalty, because sometimes most times when person get to know that, oh, there's a law, and then if you rape a person, you go for life imprisonment. Neighbors can, you know, make false statements against a person. But maybe something can happen, and then a person tries to make false statement. And if you do that in any case at all, not only rape, that is 3 years imprisonment or 200,000 naira fine. We have a forceful rejection, where you reject your spouse or your children, or this calling somebody a witch, you know, and all of that, it's still a punishable offense, and it's 2 years imprisonment. So there are so many things that people get. Damage to property, you know, when you damage a person's property to put that person in fear intentionally, it's a crime under the law, and it's a punishable offense of 300,000 naira or 2 years imprisonment. So we have so many laws. That's why so many penalties and offenses under this law now, which we believe that will have more opportunity to keep sensitizing the people so that they know that these are crimes, punishable offense, and they too should also know, or people should also know that it is an offense.
Okay. Now, when it comes to survivors of gender-based violence, gender-based violence has been categorized into 4 major aspects, which are physical, sexual, psychological, and economic. Now, when it comes to support for these people, does it have the same process? And if yes, please walk us through the process of supporting survivors of gender-based violence.
Okay, so over the years, you know, attention has always been given to just the perpetrators, which made a lot of survivors, victims, don't speak up, because when they speak up, they feel they are not safe, and then if they speak up and sometimes they send them out of the house or threaten them, where would they be? And then that can affect their education, it can affect their mental health, it can affect their maybe source of livelihood. That's where the economic comes in. So now we are trying to make sure that we do what we call survivors approach interventions. Yes, for a survivor, we know that anybody who goes through any form of gender-based violence, you need psychological intervention for your psychosocial support. You will need medical intervention, sometimes legal intervention, shelter, and then you need food too as well, and then education, skills. So it is very important when a survivor speaks up, or when we are planning our activities, interventions, it should be survivors centered, so that when a person speaks up, get threatened by either the community or the family of the perpetrator, there should be a safe place. And thanks to Akwa Ibom State government, we have a safe shelter for survivors of gender-based violence, where you can stay there for at least 3 months to sort yourself out, then to see how we can handle your perpetrators. You know, once that is settled, you can go back. But then if the situation is still very intense, you can still stay there for more times to be sure that you are safe. And then there is also skill acquisition center in that particular center. So for a survivor,
where they are being housed.
Yes, for a survivor who never had skills, because sometimes some of these women and men who get abused, some of them are not economically empowered. Okay, so while you are staying there, you also learn skills, and these skills will help you to also heal faster. It took your mind off what happened to you, and then it also makes you to see yourself that you are not a failure. You can actually do better. You can, because sometimes women are so much financially, economically dependent on men. And when you begin to make your own money, you begin to add value to yourself, that alone will make you to heal faster. And then in that same shelter, we have people who give them psychological, psychosocial support. You know, it takes time for a person to heal from any form of abuse. So there is a constant psychologist who take them through the psychological support. And then for the medical intervention, especially rape, it needs a very serious and immediate medical intervention, especially for evidence purposes, and then to prevent the victim from getting either unwanted pregnancy or diseases or HIV, all those kinds of things. So PrEP is very important, and then a very intense forensic medical report to help during the court proceedings, and then for a witness also to also come out and speak. Then for a survivor, so some may have issues, maybe if it has to be with a child or someone who is still in school, you know, you need that support for education. So there is room for continuous education. You know, even if you had stopped somewhere or you are still in school, is it that we change school for you, or we make sure you have the security to, if you were in examination class, that your school cannot be changed at that point. You know, you have to continue. There is that provision for education. And then legal support, legal services. Yes. You know, that's why we have the FIDA. FIDA takes care of women who needs legal support, representation, who does not have that economic ability, power, finances to, you know, pay any legal practitioner.
So who speaks up for the men? If FIDA speaks for the women, who speaks for the men?
That's why the government is there. The Department of Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Response Department under the Ministry of Justice, they speak for persons. Okay. You know, FIDA is just a group of female lawyers, you know, who come together to support women. Yeah. So for persons, that's men, women, the Ministry of Justice is there, and other NGOs are there to support the men and every other person who goes there. So for the Ministry of Justice, when you have any issues, you get in there, the Department of GBV, they respond to you and then take your complaints, write petitions. If you get any issues, especially rape and other very intense abuse like that, don't go to the police station alone, because police, sorry to say this, police are our friend. They do their job very well, but sometimes they also spoil cases. Misinterpret. So when a call is from the Ministry of Justice, police cannot gamble with such a case, and you get justice, and the perpetrator will get arrested and face the appropriate punishment, you know, commensurate to the offense he or she committed. So, and again, I'd like to add that when we talk about gender-based violence, our men are being abused. And because of the societal masculinity stereotype, you know, men don't speak up. They believe that men should be strong, men shouldn't cry, you know, and all of that. Our men are going through a lot. Our boys are going through a lot. People don't pay attention to them. People don't pay attention to our boys. You know, they feel that they are strong enough to take care of themselves. And then you hear a father tell a son, you have to be strong, be a man. How can a girl beat you and you cry? You know, I am not supporting any violence, be it a boy to girl or girl to boy. But then, if something happens to you as a boy, express your emotions. You know, express your emotions. Let people get to know what's bothering you, and then help you. If you don't voice out, like today in the church sensitization, we had the pastor say, "How can I go and tell somebody that my wife is abusing me?" That is why a lot of men die in silence. So it's very important men speak up. We encourage men to speak up, and women, the fact that we are fighting for women does not mean that you should misbehave, you should disrespect your husband, you know, and then you come and report to us, my husband is abusing me. We don't just wake up and arrest anybody. There is, especially when it has to do with domestic violence, we do mediation and get to see how we can bring everybody together, how you can coexist in peace and harmony. It's not when you report, we just move to arrest your husband. And then women feel that they cannot also face the law. A lot of women have also been sentenced to prison. They have also paid fine, because when we investigate and get to know that it is actually her fault, you know, she is the perpetrator of this violence that she just reported, we in turn again get you arrested, you face the law. Yes, so women out there, violence against persons prohibition law is for everybody. If you misbehave, you face the law. You know, so for us, if a person is being abused in your family, do not blame that survivor. Don't blame the survivor. When they begin to get this support from home, it will give them courage. You know, like there's this viral video that a student committed crime. I mean, killed herself for not passing exams, for having a carryover. And then another girl commented that she also had the same issues. She would have killed herself, if not because of her family who supported her. She was in school for 9 years.
Wow.
Reading a course, 4 years course. Every year she keep having carryover, incomplete results and all of that. But the family supported her. So when we begin to have this support from families, from friends, you know, it will go a long way to help the survivors. It will give them that courage. And then when a survivor wants to speak out, please allow that person to speak out. Don't stigmatize them.
Okay.
If you keep stigmatizing survivors, they will not speak up again, and they will keep dying in silence, which is not helping any matter. And when they keep dying in silence, the perpetrators will continue to do that and say, after all, nothing will happen to me.
Yes.
After all, she will not speak up. You know, allow people to speak up and then support them from your own little way.
Okay, now speaking of support, how far does this support go for a survivor who has a dependent?
Yeah, we most of the times for the female folk, we also provide support for their dependent.
Okay.
Yes. Some women comes in with their children, and then we make sure that they are fine. Okay. We support the children education too, because if a survivor is with us and then all you do is for what happens to the children, because when we talk about abuse, especially domestic violence, it affects the children.
Okay.
So children are very, very important in this case, and we make sure that we provide safe space and effective intervention for the children too, because they are innocent. Sometimes when spouses have issues, you know, they pour it on the children. And it affects their education. It affects everything around the children. So those with dependents, we also take care of them. We accept them with their dependents.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, you have made it clear that when it comes to violence against persons, be it sexual, physical, psychological, or economic, the process of support is actually the same.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. But before I let you go, how can one or a survivor, or should I say a victim of gender-based violence, access quick intervention in Akwa Ibom State?
Okay, thank you. We have phone lines that are very active, and then we have NGOs around that you can report. That's why across the 31 local governments, we have GBV unit domicile in the local government councils, and is headed by women development officers in each local government. So we bring this intervention very close to the people, because a person who is abused, for instance, in Ika might not have access to the services here in Uyo immediately. Could be limited in finances for transportation and all of that. And then so if you are being abused in Ika, your local government council is very close. You can get in there. Even the WD, you might know the person. That's why we use the local contents, you know, to make sure we tackle it. So at the local government level, there are people who are there to listen to you. There are NGOs. And then for you, if you have the phone line, you can call the Ministry of Justice, that's a Sexual and Gender-Based Response Department, you know, to attend to you. You can get into any police station.
Can you quickly avail us with the phone number for that?
Okay, so we have our phone numbers here. Okay, so we have our phone numbers in case you want to reach out to the Ministry of Justice. 0701 117 1110.
Please take that again.
So let me take that again. 0701 1117 110.
Okay.
So that's the number, and then you can walk into the Ministry of Justice ground floor, room 8, to lay your complaints. There are lawyers there to listen to you, and your case will be handled.
Does it attract any fee? Because now you said lawyers. People will be thinking about the legal implication when it comes to finances.
No, there are no fees attached to it.
Okay.
There are no fees attached to the intervention as far as that department is concerned.
Okay.
There are no fees, yes.
Okay, thank you so very much. We do appreciate your time on the program. And if you're just joining us, we've been speaking with Miss Edidion Enang, who has been walking us through the process of supporting survivors of gender-based violence. You know, the Akwa Ibom State First Lady has launched a month month-long awareness campaign on gender-based violence. And with that, we say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program. We appreciate your time. And we say, may God continue to strengthen all of you involved in this movement so you can actually pinpoint these perpetrators and support more survivors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And from there, we'll move on to sports, where Rivers Hoopers have ended up third place in the Basketball Africa League Season 4 after defeating Cape Town Tigers 80-57. The Hoopers, who earlier lost to Al Ahly in the semi-final, were able to achieve their goal of ending on the podium by defeating South African team by 23 points. Kelvin Amayo was a standout performer for the Nigerian team, finishing with 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Prior to the game, coach of the Hoopers, Coach Odwadu, had been honored as the Coach of the Year, demonstrating his well-deserved accolade with a brilliant performance from his team. The Port Harcourt-based team has done more than enough to secure third place in the debut appearance at the ball playoffs. And now we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you a special feature for today. Don't go away.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Smartphone Film Workshop.
Are you a young adult with a passion for storytelling and content creation? Do you reside in the Niger Delta and desire to become a filmmaker or content creator?
Then you should register for the ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop, an exciting opportunity brought to you by ADBN TV. Embark on a journey to unlock your creative potential by learning the art of filmmaking, sound design, and lighting using your smartphone. This is your chance to turn your ideas into reality. So hurry now and register via our website at www.adbntv.com. But wait, that's not all. Your creations will be aired on ADBN TV, channel 258 on DSTV, 140 on StarTimes, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app, reaching audiences far and wide. And guess what? 3 lucky winners will be selected for the grand cash prize of 5 million naira.
Meet our facilitators.
Register now at www.adbntv.com and take the first step towards a future in filmmaking and content creation. ADBN Smartphone Film Workshop. Unleash your creativity.
You're welcome back to the program, and this is a special feature segment on Across the Niger Delta today. On today's special feature, we will be looking at fishing activities across the Niger Delta with Akwa Ibom State as a case study. Do enjoy the reports.
The Niger Delta is one of the most prominent regions in Nigeria, endowed with several water bodies that are distributed as freshwaters like rivers, lakes, streams, and creeks. Apart from the freshwaters, the region also has vast marine ecosystem such as marine groove swamps, periwinkle crayfish, oysters, and others. Fish is packed with nutrients that most people are lacking. This includes high-quality protein, iodine, various vitamins and minerals. Interestingly, the fisheries sector is an essential aspect of the world economy in terms of employment, food security, enterprise development, foreign exchange, earnings, and other economic benefits. Iwochang is a riverine community in Ibona local government area of Akwa Ibom State that witnesses influx of people from various parts of the world who come in to trade daily on a commercial quantity. Let's go to Iwochang River.
This is Iwochang, a popular fish market in Eket's local government area. And as you can see in front of me, there is a basket full of fish. As I think there are two baskets full of fish, and there is a lady here who is a marketer of this fish, and she's going to tell us the benefits of these fishes and what it costs or what it implies for her to get these fishes and what she's going to do with these fishes. So, Madam Grace, right?
Mary.
Okay, Mary. So, we have a basket full of fish here, and some of us might not really know the benefit of fishes to them. So kindly tell us, first of all, what's the benefit of fish to the human body?
We have fishes like anaga, nkuka. Our land is not good for planting, but rather it is good for fishing and other riverine activities.
My discussions with some fishermen also revealed the challenges while joining into the middle of the sea to harvest fishes for sale.
The process of fishing, you have to get the material such as engine. Engine has to be the most difficult things. Without the engine, there's nothing we can do. After you get the engine, you get the boat, plank boat, you get the marine rope, and all that. When you get this intact, then you will continue with fishing. When we get to the high ocean, we have to set the net inside the water. We have a very long stick. Without a long stick, we cannot fish. The net must be open by use a marine rope to tie this. You can see, let me make a reference to that long stick that's there. I think you saw it. So you will extend that fishing, that net. After done that, you will set into the water and you start the engine, we move. That is how we are doing the business. It is very, very lucrative business, but presently because of this cost of fuel, it will bring the profit down the way we are expecting it to be. Before, when we are buying fuel at rate of 150 per liter. Everything that went to fishing in a day get like a 10 basi. Then they are selling crayfish at 30,000, 25,000. So automatically you buy for maybe 95,000. After you do the calculation, we reduce the fuel money. Then the profit can get like a gain of 300, 350. That's how the business it is.
The process of catching the fish is very hard, more especially in this rainy season. It's not easy at all. No easy because before you go come out, the weather don't change. And the weather don't change like this, the thunder and then the storm. It's not good inside sea. So all those stuff, they disturb fishermen well. I know they agree make fishermen take also in time. But when it's in drying season, at that time where the business they move out, all those sea pirates, they don't agree for us. So now the only time we enjoy the business with this. Understand? This is the only time we enjoy the business. This is the rainy season because sea pirates, they know they quickly enter for rainy season.
An indigene carefully explained some attributes associated with fishery businesses.
This is crayfish, and this is for Yorubas. Yorubas like going crayfish. Then Ghanaians, they like going to, their fishing is, they like to go and fish bonga. That is their fishing. They like fishing bonga. And if you wash bonga and crayfish are not the same. And also if you wash trawler fishing, it's not the same with Ghanaian fishing. So that is it. It's like two examples of trawler fishing. There are fish, there are two types of fish. We have apina, they used to call it apina, we used to call it akpanata, we used to call it ikpokpok. But Ghana, we used to call it, their fishing is ebat, that is bunga. And they used to fish like those big snappy, those big one. They used to go storage fishing also. And their fishing is always daily. They go by 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock. They will come back like 11, 12. Sometimes they come back in the night. When they don't see fish in the sea, they will come back at night. Like today, if you watch very well, they don't see fish in the water today. Not that there is no fish, but there is no fish for them to catch today.
On the sidelines, catfish is one of Niger Delta's most reared household fish that can be easily controlled with promising economic gains. Some rear catfish in mobile ponds, while others build concrete structures to hold and breed their fishes.
This fish that I'm feeding is catfish, Clarias garipinus, and it is a species of catfish that we can rear in the house. There are other species of catfish, but most of them we can't rear them in the house. So I'm feeding them. Definitely have to feed them from 3 times a day or 2 times, depending on the size.
Aside the gains of rearing and consuming fresh fishes, some also enjoy drying their fishes because of its rich benefits, which includes fatty acid, longer lifespan, and others.
So this is catfish. It is locally raised here in Akwa Ibom State. So it's either you produce them or you get them at a fingerling stage. So mine was gotten at a fingerling stage, and then it was raised to 5 months maximum. And then after 5 months, we weigh it. It attended 1 kg. So that was when we knew it was due for processing. The method of processing is quite different depending on your customer's demand. Now we have seasoned catfish, and then we have unspiced catfish. Now this catfish could be spiced to any level you want them. We have ginger spice, we have pepper spice, we have onion spice, and also we have the ones that are not spiced, depending on customers' demand. So this particular one I'm holding is not spiced because the customer does not want it to be spiced. And this is sold at 3,000 per kg. This is 3,000 naira. This is a kg of fresh, but after drying, this one will not give you a kg. So this is 3,000 naira each. We also have another one. Here we have edeng. This is one of the type of fish we process here. You can see how it is. You know them with their head size. Then this is a akwe. Ekodonyem akwe. Can see. So this is another type of fish that is being processed here. Then we have akpanata. A lot of people love this fish because it doesn't scatter in the food. So this is akpanata, one of its kind, one of the fish that is selling most in this part of Akwa Ibom State, akpanata.
With the blue economy being a major concern, there is no doubt that with the needed attention, the sector can become a major driver of the nation's economy. David Isong.
And with that fishing activity, we've come to the end of today's edition of Across the Niger Delta. Till we come your way again, do enjoy the rest of our programming. I am Aweru Swogene Ebo. Bye for now.